There is an idea in this country that if you work hard and play by the rules, then you will be rewarded by life, not subjected to poverty. This American dream is growing increasingly out of reach for too many of us. As income inequality continues to widen and workers' share of the national income shrinks, the case for raising the minimum wage grows. While the rising tide lifts all boats, most Americans cannot afford a boat, and too many are now drowning. It is time to replace partisan politics with economics, while doing what is morally right. The current policy in Arkansas of raising the minimum wage in increments of 50 cents a year until it reaches $8.50 in 2017 is too slow and not enough. The minimum wage should be increased 70 cents a year for 3 years, starting in 2017, until it reaches $10.10 in 2019, and then indexed to inflation in order to keep pace with the cost of living. The wage needs to be raised because too many low-wage Arkansan workers are struggling to provide for their families, despite averaging 40 hours of work a week, while corporations are again posting record-breaking profits. While the minimum wage in 1968 was $1.60, this would equal $10.90 in today's dollars when adjusted for inflation. This erosion of the minimum wage plays a key factor in the growing income inequality. Further, the typical minimum wage earner is not a teenager working a summer job, but most likely a woman at the age of 35 who is a provider and breadwinner responsible for paying bills and raising children. Nationwide and in Arkansas, a larger share of those affected by an increase in the minimum wage would be workers age 55 and older than teenagers. Workers of color would disproportionately be affected by this increase, with more than 1/3 of Black and Hispanic workers receiving a raise. Further, a majority of workers who would benefit are full-time employees. An increase in minimum wage would not only benefit low-wage workers, it would also decrease the amount of money taxpayers spend on public assistance programs like SNAP. Researchers looked at how minimum wage laws implemented by different states affected their SNAP enrollments. Researchers found that by requiring businesses to pay fair wages, taxpayers could save nationally $4.6 billion per year in SNAP costs. By adjusting the minimum wage in Arkansas from $7.25 per hour in 2014 to $10.10 per hour, researchers predicted SNAP expenditures would decrease by $53.7 million. Those in the fast food industry or other low-wage jobs do not deserve to be consigned to live in poverty, solely because they lack the privilege of pursuing a professional degree. Nor do those flipping burgers or making Frosties lack the requisite determination or diligence to deserve a fair wage. These workers deserve to earn enough to live above the poverty line. Requiring businesses to pay fair wages would pull so many hardworking Arkansans out of poverty without overburdening taxpayers. Raising the minimum wage makes economic sense and helps low-wage workers. A major paper by economist Dubé at the University of Massachusetts at Amherst argues that raising minimum wage to $10.10 an hour would substantially reduce the number of workers living in poverty. Workers in poverty disproportionately report earnings wages at or below the minimum wage. Additionally, Goldman Sachs conducted an evaluation of state minimum wage increases in 2014 and found that 13 states that raised their minimum wage in 2014 had stronger employment growth than the other 37 states that did not raise the wage. Even the pro-free market economist endorses a minimum wage increase in the United States. As long as the increase is less than 50% of the median wage, there is no harm done, in its view. America's federal minimum wage, at 38% of median income, is low compared to the rest of the developed countries. Additional research compared counties where the minimum wage rate was increased to neighboring counties that did not adopt an increase, and found there was no negative effect on employment resulting from the increase. The research shows that increases in the minimum wage can reduce vacancies and turnover instead of killing jobs. According to the Department of Labor, a review of 64 studies on minimum wage increases found no discernible effect on employment. Although Governor Asa Hutchinson has voiced concern that raising wages too quickly could dampen economic growth, it has been shown repeatedly that businesses who have voluntarily raised wages reap economic benefits. Last year, the CEO of Earth Friendly Products raised the company's 321 full-time employee wages to $17 per hour. The CEO reported the company has not had to raise its prices, has not taken a hit in profits, and its employee turnover rate is 0. She said this is because employees enjoy coming to work when they are compensated fairly. Similarly, Walmart, an influential corporation in Arkansas, recently raised its wages for workers with encouraging results. In 2016, Walmart raised its minimum wage to $10 per hour in an effort to increase customer service. The CFO of Walmart reported that the pay hike resulted in higher quality job applicants and better quality work from employees. Other companies like McDonald's have voluntarily increased their minimum wage in order to increase sales and motivate employees to provide more quality levels of service to customers. McDonald's minimum wage is set to be $10 by the end of 2016. A recent poll found that by a ratio of 4-to-1, Americans support raising the minimum wage to $10.10 per hour, and this support sweeps broadly across all political affiliations and regions of the country. Although the relatively recent legislation which put wage increases in motion might cause some apprehension to support another increase, the quality of life this legislation would give to hardworking Arkansans should persuade critics. This raise makes economic sense. It will benefit the quality of life of thousands of Arkansans and taxpayers, and public opinion demonstrates the rates as they stand are a step in the right direction, but not enough. No one who works full-time should have to raise a family in poverty. These families deserve a fair shot. It's time for a fair wage for compelling economic and moral imperatives. It's time to save the American dream.